Hello and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. I'm your host, Frank Foster, and today we start a very new and interesting series looking at the top combat infantry divisions that were fighting in the European theater. 8th Infantry Division, which was known as the Golden Arrow Division or the Pathfinder, was activated prior to World War II in July 1940 at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. After extensive training to include Fort Leonard Wood and forts in California and Arizona, it departed for overseas on 5 December 1943 and arrived in England on the 15th of December 1943. The shoulder patch worn by the 8th Division is based on a World War I design that was approved by the Allied Expeditionary Force in April 1919. The number 8 represents the division number, and the blue shield suggests infantry blue, and the arrow on the shield is in honor of John Fremont, an American explorer, soldier, and political leader who was prominent in early California history. John Fremont was known as the Pathfinder, and the division was first organized in 1918 at Camp Fremont in California. Today, the unit crest, or distinctive unit insignia for the headquarters and headquarters company of the 8th Infantry Division, features a figure 8 rendered in blue, combined with red for the number's interior spacing in order to create the appearance of an infantry division's flag. Inscribed in gold on the blue is the phrase, "These are my credentials," and the Pathfinder, the headquarters motto and official nickname. 5 stars at the top of the crest stand for the division's service in World War I and its official credit for 4 campaigns in World War II. After additional training in Ireland, the 8th landed on Utah Beach on July 4, 1944, and went into combat 3 days later, attacking across the hedgerow countryside of Normandy. Here I'm showing variations of the 8th Infantry Division patch, and it entered combat, as I said, on 8 July and had 266 days of combat and suffered almost 14,000 casualties. The 8th Division served with 4 different armies in Europe, the 1st, the 3rd, and the 9th American Armies, and the British 2nd Army. In 266 days of combat, the Golden Arrow Division suffered almost 14,000 combat casualties and killed and wounded and fought in 4 campaigns: Normandy, northern France, Rhineland, and Central Europe. During its fighting in the liberation of France and the capture of Germany, it had 13,986 battle casualties, 2,532 killed in action, 10,057 wounded in action, 729 missing, and 668 prisoners of war. And on the upper right-hand corner is the Prisoner of War Medal, which was not authorized till after the war but made retroactive. The soldiers of the 8th Infantry Division distinguished themselves in combat. They earned 3 Medal of Honors, over 33 Distinguished Service Crosses, 2 Distinguished Service Medals, 768 Silver Stars for Valor, 12 Legion of Merits, 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses, those must have been the liaison or aircraft spotter planes, 24 Soldiers Medals, 2,800 plus Bronze Star medals for both valor and meritorious service, over 14,000 Purple Hearts, and 107 Air Medals. The division also was awarded 5 Distinguished Unit Citations. Distinguished Unit Citations are now called Presidential Unit Citations, and they are the blue ribbon with the gold outer band. In this case, the 8th Infantry Division would have 4 oak leaf clusters on their Presidential Unit Citation to indicate 5 awards. And the Presidential Unit Citation is a unit equivalent of an individual earning the Distinguished Service Cross. On the right is a Presidential Unit Citation commemorative medal for soldiers who would like to have a medal to represent their Presidential Unit Citation. The 8th Infantry Division had 3 assigned infantry regiments. The first of these was the 13th Infantry Regiment, and on the left is their coat of arms, and on their right is their distinctive unit insignia. It has an interesting history. On the top of it is a cartridge box with the name 40 rounds. Actually, it came from a greeting by the unit during the Civil War when a soldier in the 13th Regiment was asked what his corps badge was. He tapped his cartridge box saying 40 rounds in the cartridge box and 20 in the pocket. The commanding general later said, "We're going to put 40 rounds on top of our insignia." 13th Infantry Regiment spent 10 months in combat in Normandy, northern France, the Rhineland, and Central Europe, and it occupied a position on the Siegfried Line that was involved in the Battle of Brest and the Battle of Hergen Forest. Special thanks to Medals of America and Fountain Inn, South Carolina for providing all the medals and badges that you see in the show today. And if you enjoy these shows, please give us a like and subscribe. That will keep us on the air. So, and give us your feedback in the comments below. Okay, let's keep going. The 28th Infantry Regiment is shown here with the coat of arms on the left and the distinctive unit insignia shown on the right. It landed on Utah Beach on 4 July 1944, and its first action was to attack south to establish a critical bridgehead so that the armored divisions could launch a breakout and attack into Brittany and northern France. During 10 months of combat, the regiment earned 3 presidential unit citations and captured over 115 prisoners of war and vast stores of enemy materials. The 121st Infantry Regiment has a unique crest starting on your right. The regimental nickname, the Gray Bonnets, is derived from the title of a song, "Put on Your Old Gray Bonnets," adopted in 1928, is the official marching song of the regiment. The distinctive unit insignia of the regiment is an old gray bonnet proper and is one of a few DUIs in the U.S. Army designed to be manufactured and worn in pairs, left and right. On your left is the coat of arms, which is an insignia of a blue shield with a gray cross and a prickly pear and fleur-de-lis and a boar's head with an oak branch in the mouth on top. The blue background represents the infantry, while the gray cross symbolizes the unit's Confederate service. The cactus represents duty on the Mexican border, and the fleur-de-lis in service in France in World War I. The boar's head with the oak branch is the crest of the Georgia Army National Guard. In addition to the 3 infantry regiments in the order of battle, there were 4 105mm artillery battalions, an engineer combat battalion, a medical battalion, a cav reconnaissance troop, and a headquarters company, an ordnance light maintenance company, quartermaster company, signal, military police platoon, and their very own band. The campaign medal awarded to members of the 8th Infantry Division is the European African Middle Eastern Campaign, and it was awarded for 30 days or the receipt of any combat decoration. It comes with a bronze star for each campaign and is available for veterans in both bronze or gold-plated and both miniature medals, ribbons, enamel lapel pin, and even a hat pin. Almost all members of the 8th Infantry Division would have earned at least 3 medals, the American Campaign Medal, the ETO Medal, and the Victory Medal, along with, weapons qualification badges as shown here, either in Expert, Marksman, or Sharpshooter. There were multiple qualification bars to go on the marksmanship badges for rifle, recoilless rifle, pistol, flamethrower, submachine gun, grenade, anti-aircraft artillery, missile, etc. In fact, many soldiers would have multiple qualification bars on their marksmanship badges. Since the 8th Infantry Division was activated prior to World War II in 1940, many of the early members would be qualified for the American Defense Medal shown on the left. The 8th Infantry Division was known as a well-disciplined unit, and you can assume that almost all of the enlisted soldiers also earned the Good Conduct Medal. So if you looked at a soldier who joined in the 1940s, he would have the Good Conduct Medal, the American Defense Medal, the American Campaign Medal, the ETO Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal, and if he stayed 30 days after the end of the war, the Occupation Medal. Considering the division's casualty rate, less than half of the division at the end of the war would have been those who started out with it in 1940. So they would not have earned the American Defense Medal. After World War II, the War Department authorized the Bronze Star Medal for meritorious service to every combat infantryman, and many of them had also earned the Purple Heart. So a veteran's combat infantryman of the 8th Infantry Division could have the medals as shown here, all the way from the Bronze Star to the occupation of Germany. And an infantryman or combat medic of the 8th Infantry Division who joined the division in 1940 could have the Bronze Star, Purple Heart, American Defense, Good Conduct, American Campaign, the ETO Medal with up to 4 campaign stars, the Victory Medal, and the Occupation of Germany Medal with Germany Bar. I do need to point out that the Bronze Star Medal is only awarded during combat, and it is awarded for both valor with the V device or for meritorious service in combat. Actually, most of our veterans came home from World War II with a ribbon rack as shown here, a Good Conduct Medal, an American Campaign, an ETO Medal, and a Victory Medal, or perhaps they had the American Defense Medal also. So most combat infantrymen just came home with a few ribbons as shown here. And the difference is that today their uniform would look like this with the appropriate medals, to include the Presidential Unit Citation worn on the right side. And the family of a combat infantryman of the 8th Infantry Division would have a display case like this to honor their veteran. Of course, there are a number of different insignia to include rank and shooting badges, brass plates, honorable discharge pins, commemorative medals, and other insignia that can be used to honor a veteran's service. Here's a good example of a veteran who even mounted his Ike jacket. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please give us comments, or even better, a like or subscribe. That'll keep us on the air. And don't forget, all of the campaign credits and all of the unit award credits are listed below. So, see you next time on Veterans Medals Workshop.